I read that BeMyEyes is the most popular application among blind people in the world. Is it correct?
Well, that is difficult to measure, but that's what they keep telling us. So we kind of believe that. So thank you.
Yeah. And Hans, actually, first of all, welcome and thank you for, very, very much to accept our invitation and to talk with us today. And first of all, could you mention about yourself? Who is Hans Wiberg? How can you bring this great BeMyEyes idea? How can you? How it is emerged?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm super proud that I can be a part of this, and also that you really want to hear about BeMyEyes and all that. I am blind myself, and I have been working for the Danish Blind Federation for a number of years, especially back in 2012, where I came up with this idea. I shall say that I'm not a tech person myself, so I have not built BeMyEyes myself. If I had done that, it would not have been working at all. So I needed to find some people to help me. But working with other blind and low vision people here in Denmark, I realized that there was a need for an app like this, because some of my fellow blind people, they were using Skype and FaceTime to make video calls to friends and family when they needed a pair of eyes. And one of them said to me, but I always have to call someone, meaning I have to think about who is available, or is this person at work, or can I call my sister now? I just called her yesterday, and all that. And then I was thinking, oh, we can make a group you can call. That's got to be pretty easy to do. And little did I know about how complicated it really is to make an app. And maybe that was a good thing, because I was very intrigued about this idea. So I managed to find some people, and together with those people, we managed to raise some money here in Denmark from one of the biggest foundations here in Denmark. And then we could start hiring people who actually knew how to make an app, and also people who knew about making apps accessible. And please remember, we are back in 2013 and 14. Not that many blind people were using iPhones at the time, because the iPhone was the only phone that was accessible. I think it was iPhone 3 or 3S that got voiceover.
I think 3S. So it's exactly 3S. Yeah,
it was pretty new at the time that blind people at all could use smartphones. But we could see that this tool that we believe everybody would have in their pocket within a few years would be the perfect tool for us to make BeMyEyes accessible and available for blind people. So that's kind of the start of it. And then we decided that BeMyEyes should be a free service. We also very soon realized that it was not possible to make it to a Danish app. It had to be international from the beginning. I mean, we are 6 million people in Denmark. It's a super small country.
Yeah.
So I mean,
how many blind people are there in Denmark? Hans?
Only Danish. So you need to be, and that's a good thing about coming from a super small country, that you have to think about how can we make this work in the whole world. So that's exactly what we did. And as of today, we have 530 something thousand blind and low vision people across the globe who are using BeMyEyes, and we have more than 7 million volunteers.
Yeah.
and we have between 7,000 and 8,000 blind and low vision persons in Turkey.
Yeah.
And we have 135,000 volunteers in Turkey. And maybe you will find it interesting that on top of that, we have another 50,000 Turkish-speaking volunteers, but they are not in Turkey. And quite a few of them has chosen Turkey as their second language. So I would assume it is somebody who lives in Australia or USA. But they can also speak Turkish. So they have selected English as their first language, and then but they would like to also talk to somebody back from Turkey sometime. So that is also why you in Turkey you can get assistance 24/7. Because we do not call any volunteers at 2:00 at night in Turkey, but then we have so many wonderful Turkish-speaking volunteers otherwhere in the world, so we can help 24/7 without disturbing our volunteers 24/7. So that is kind of the very short story of BeMyEyes. I mentioned that I got this idea in 2012, and then in 2015 we had raised the money and we had developed the app. So we have been on air since January 2015, we have thousands of calls from blind users every day, of course. So that is kind of the short story of the basics of BeMyEyes. So yeah.
Okay, very good. And there are many users in Turkey, blind and volunteer. And in order, when you make an order, Turkey is about which order Turkey in terms of users, large users of user capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is So I am wondering about how. In the first round, in the beginning, what is the reaction of the blind people to BeMyEyes? They love it or they criticize about that application? What kind of reaction you took in the beginning? 2012, in 2015?
It's interesting because nobody had done this before when we launched in 2015. So we really had no idea. And I was thinking, when you talk to your friends, they are also always that they say, "Oh, that's a great idea, Hans. We will support you." But then you realize, okay, they are my friends. Of course, they will say that. But what about those who doesn't know me? So we were really a little anxious. But the short story is that we were completely blown away. Within 24 hours, we had more than 1,000 blind people signed up and 10,000 volunteers. And then within a few weeks, we had 10,000 blind people and 100,000 volunteers. And we were picked up by media. I spent almost 2 months giving interviews to all kind of and I also think Turkish newspapers, but of course mainly in UK and USA and so on. But it was a totally mind-blowing and of course we were super proud that everybody wanted to talk to us and we simply got an insane amount of press coverage, radio, television, newspapers, and whatever. So it was absolutely amazing, and until this day, on a daily basis we get emails from people who just simply thank us for doing this. And I mentioned that BeMyEyes is a free app, and the first weekend where we talked about this, we looked at the numbers, and we could see that most of the blind people in this world, they live in India and they live in Africa, and it's not that, of course, they are not poor, all of them, but a lot of them are quite poor. But they do have a smartphone, many of them, but they are not in a position to pay $10 a month for anything. And also because it is really the volunteers who are doing the work, and they are not getting paid, of course. So we find it was kind of reasonable that the service in itself should be free. Of course, it's not free to run BeMyEyes. I have staff that I need to pay. So the way we do that is that you can also you can call a volunteer, but you can also go into something called specialized help.
Yeah.
Where you can, if you speak English, you can call Microsoft and Google and Spotify and LinkedIn and a number of other companies. And those companies, they are customers at BeMyEyes. So we have Microsoft as our customer. And so Microsoft pays BeMyEyes a monthly subscription to be on our platform. And we basically, just like any phone company, we just route the calls from blind users to Microsoft. But the good thing is that Microsoft know it is a blind person when the call is coming from BeMyEyes. So they can make sure that those agents at Microsoft or Google or the other companies that knows anything about being blind, they are the agents that are answering the calls from BeMyEyes. Some of the agents at Microsoft has answered more than 10,000 BeMyEyes calls. So, I mean, even before you call them, they know what you're going to ask them because they have answered so many calls from blind people. And this makes it very convenient for the blind person because they get to talk to somebody who actually knows what they are talking about. And the other agents at Microsoft or Google that has no clue about what a screen reader is or anything, they don't get any of those calls. And because they were kind of frustrated when a blind person was calling because they had no, how can I help a blind person when they cannot see the screen and all that? And that's simply completely out of the question now because people are using BeMyEyes to call those agents. So that's it's really a win-win situation, and especially that we are getting paid for this, so we can keep the service running to support blind people in 185 different languages. So
in 185 different languages, and in how many countries are you there?
Well, we don't really have any country. I mean, you cannot use in North Korea and in a few other countries that have some sanctions against Cuba and Iran, and I think there's 4 or 5 different countries. But otherwise, we are absolutely global, and I think we have users in 95% of the possible countries in the world, so which is pretty amazing.
Hans, very good. Actually, you answered my questions about if you are a free app and how can you manage your financial issue. It is. I think you answered a little bit related to specialized app. Let me continue from the specialized app issue. There are also many different companies in Turkey. Also, if they want to be customer of BeMyEyes, or if we can ask them to be to place in specialized help system of BeMyEyes, what can we do? How can they do? Is there any way to communicate with you about that issue?
Absolutely, we would love to have, and I will give you the offer that we will be very, very generous to the first Turkish company who will be part of BeMyEyes, and give them a special prize for you, my friend.
Okay.
But just send me an email. You can either use info@BeMyEyes, or you can mail me directly at hans@BeMyEyes.com, and I will make sure that some of my the staff will be in contact, and that would be totally amazing if we can do that. Absolutely.
And Hans, I admire you about that issue. You can answer all of the emails coming to you, because I know it. Whenever I took an email you, I am taking answer from you in 1 or 2 days. Very thank you about that issue.
One of the things that I have found super interesting during Corona. We had an agreement with the health minister of UK. So if you were based in UK or England or Scotland, you could call through the BeMyEyes and have them assist you with a home test, Corona home test. And we were super proud of that partnership we have. And if the government of Turkey want to have that kind of arrangement, we are more than happy to do that as well. So,
and I think there was also some companies who are giving the pregnancy test. I am remembering such kind of things. Yeah. And Hans, many people are wondering about, and actually here in Zoom or in YouTube, our blind observer, I am sure they have a story about BeMyEyes. They have a good story about taking a help from a volunteer, maybe in their home, to separate their dresses, to read something in the computer screen, and many things they are taking. And most of the people now in our email list write that, BeMyEyes was a free app, but now they are cooperating with OpenAI, with artificial intelligence, and one day it will be a paid application. There is such kind of belief, and I am reading many things about that. And I want to take an answer from the first hand of it. Will BeMyEyes be free in the future, or also do you have any plan to be a paid or such kind of version?
We don't have any plans to be a paid subscription. It is, it is one of our very, very core values to be a free service, simply because we believe that eyesight, that's a free thing. That's like the air you're breathing, that doesn't cost anything. And if we at all have the possibility to keep it as a free service, we will absolutely do that.
Okay.
And that is including the BeMyAI. And one of the it's kind of a funny story, because on February this year, we simply got a phone call from OpenAI, who has made Chat GPT-4, and that everybody was talking about in February. But nobody knew at the time that they had also made a image to text version. We were also talking about that they had a text to image version, where you could type in, I want a picture of something, and then it could generate such a picture. So we were kind of, whoa, we didn't know that. And I was, to be honest, I was a little skeptic, because, we have seen some of these algorithm that is trying to recognize picture, and to be honest, it has never been that good. It could recognize a chair and a table and a bottle and so on, but suddenly you had a dishwasher in your living room, and and it wasn't that good. So I was skeptical about it. But then they said, okay, you can try it out, and then we can talk again. And we were completely blown away by this new feature, how precise and how detailed. And not only did you get a description of the photo, you could ask further questions about it. If you wanted to know something specific about the clothing or the furniture or the paintings on the wall, or you could simply ask about whatever you wanted in that picture, and you would get more information. We had never seen that before. So we were, we want to do this. and then, but we also said to them, BeMyEyes is a free app, and it has to stay that way. So we cannot charge our users for this. Are you okay with that? And they said yes to this. Of course, there gotta be some limits to how much we can use it, maybe in the future. But as it is right now, there's no limit, and there will always be a significant amount of free use. Maybe you cannot use it 100 times a day or whatever. At some point there might be some limitation, because it is not free to do this. It costs a lot of computer power to do this, and computer power is also electricity, and electricity is not free. So maybe we have no idea, but maybe there will be some limitations to how much you can use it. But there will always be a free limit of something that you can do it each day or whatever. So
actually, then you bring the issue to the artificial intelligence, and let me continue from that. Actually, BeMyEyes is a company, is an application. It mostly relies on the volunteers. Okay, the vice versa version of the automatic system. We can talk to a person. Then, in contrasting things happening, the artificial intelligence come to scene. How could it happen? How could they find you, and how could they come to you about that issue? Did they find you, or they find OpenAI about this issue?
Well, they found us. Of course, we knew about OpenAI. I mean, the whole world was talking about OpenAI at the time, but we had not been thinking about really reaching out to them at that time. We talked about, this is super interesting, but we didn't know they had this version. Had we known that, we might have called them before they called us, because it was of course pretty obvious that feature was kind of made for blind people. So we were very, very happy that they decided to call BeMyEyes, and with all due respect, BeMyEyes is one of the biggest apps in the blind community. So in that sense, maybe it was straightforward for OpenAI to call BeMyEyes, and also OpenAI is also they have a very social profile. Of course, they are also here to make money, but they have a very dedicated social profile as well. So in that sense, I think we are kind of aligned.
Very good. And after BeMyEyes, the first beta is published in, I think it is published in March, Hans? Or April?
February, March,
15 March.
It was around that time. So
yeah, like that. Then after I was in the beta group, and we were using it very much. Everything was okay. Everyone was excited, and something happened. And when we take a photo, it is blocked. Oh no, I cannot answer. Then we learned that if there is a human face, then it could be blocked. Then nothing is there like that. And this discussion lasted until 1 month ago. I think it's September. What happened in that issue? What was the discussion? How did happen, and how did you solve it, or could we have possibility to meet that problem again? We are wondering about that.
Well, the issue is and was at the time that in the USA there is a state called Illinois, and in Illinois they have a specific state law that says you are not allowed to process pictures with faces. And this law is to prevent someone from making an app that can recognize people on the street. You're not allowed to go out and take a picture and take that picture home and put it into your computer, and then the computer will can tell you who are those people on the street. That's simply no-go. And I totally agree with that. But that law also mean that OpenAI could not process the pictures if there was a face in the picture. And I mean, OpenAI has been in the media a lot, and they have been so much in the media, so they are very, very careful about not doing anything wrong. So they simply said, we can no longer process any pictures that has a face. And 1 week later, they said, we can no longer process a picture that has any part of a human being. So because some blind users was holding something in their hand and taking a photo of that. But then if there was this hand, then they would not process the picture. And of course, we were really, really disappointed about this. And we say there gotta be a way around this. And we have found a solution. It's really a bad solution, because the solution is that the blind people in Illinois, they cannot use this feature, but everybody who is not living in Illinois can use the feature and have faces described to them just like before. And you can say, well, that's a small price. Yeah, but not if you're living in Illinois. So now we are together with our lawyer in California and the National Federation for the Blind in the US. We are trying to raise this issue in Illinois and say, okay, this law you made 15 years ago doesn't apply to modern technology. And the blind people in your state, they don't have they don't have access to one of the most amazing tools that everybody in the whole world is using right now. Is that what you want? Maybe they will not put it that way, but but we are trying to raise this issue with the state of Illinois. I mean, this is maybe some boring thing, but I think it's kind of interesting that how a law about something completely different suddenly 10 years later is a bump on the road for all the blind people in the whole world, and that's absolutely not what they intended this to do. But yeah, sometimes there is some bump on the road that you have to do. And we really believe that we have found a way to do this. But I am also so old, so I know that sometimes things can go south, and if there comes a legal battle about something, I cannot guarantee that we will have this feature available in this way forever. But that's what we believe right now. But it is kind of, it's a little shaky. But we believe it as it is right now. So.
Yeah, because Hans, the disappointment is that in the issue that you know that it can do a very good description, but it is not because of a rule. It is very before BeMyAI, before OpenAI, we don't know. They can't describe faces, no problem. But it can describe, and we know sighted people, when a sighted people looked at a picture, they can't have any kind of restriction. Okay, they can see the face, but
exactly. Yeah.
But
but we also have to. I believe that blind people should have the exact same information that any sighted person can see from looking at the photo. Yeah. But we have to realize that, if we are describing people, should we also say, okay, this gentleman from Denmark, he is bald and he is a little fat, or should we be super polite and maybe I'm just sitting in a dark corner, and then they say this is a black guy from Denmark, and he is not, or something like that. And some people would be totally offended about this. And also gender. Gender is not as easy as it was 50 years ago. So some people recognize, or I don't know how to put this in English, but they believe they are not what they look like to be, gender-wise. And I have the deepest respect for that, and I believe everybody should have the right to do whatever. But when we are trying to make a computer describe a person, then there is a very big risk of saying something that people don't like to hear about themselves. So it is just to say that this is rather complicated when you get down to some of the more details around this. But I basically believe that we should have the right to have a description of whatever we would like to have a description of, including nude people and paintings with nude people and statues with nude people and all that, just like anyone else. It doesn't have to be pornography or anything, but there is so many art pieces, wonderful art pieces from the 15th century with a lot of nude people. And why shouldn't we as blind people, why shouldn't we have the right to have them described as well? We can argue about pornography and all that, but at least...
but there are some people who want to also make such pornography described. I am seeing such kind of discussions.
Yes, I think it's a little early for that, but basically, if it is something that other people could see, why shouldn't we have it described? Especially when you can do it with a computer. I don't think we as blind people have the right to have somebody else sit and describe pornography. I don't think that's not a good thing to ask some people to do. But
for example, I don't call a BeMyEyes volunteer to learn about something in pornography. I want to learn it from your artificial intelligence.
But I mean, if a computer can do it and it doesn't harm anybody, then well, why not? Maybe we should get back to the subject.
Okay. Maybe in the later. Hans, I know that BeMyEyes is still in the beta process, or it is formal release in terms of, or there are some questions about the people sent to me about BeMyEyes. Before passing to that, can you give us a roadmap about what is the feature of BeMyEyes? What kind of improvement are you in your agenda in the first 3 months or until January in this year like that? What kind of new properties we can meet with the later versions of the BeMyEyes?
The most important thing, and I very much apologize to anyone who is using Android, because we have started the first version of BeMyAI is only working on iPhone. And this BeMyEyes is a super small team. So we simply decided in order to do this and make sure it was working, we had to do it on one platform. And we simply chose iPhone or iOS. It could just as well have been Android, because I think it's about 50-50 how many users we have globally who are using iPhone and who are using Android. But our number one priority right now is to get the Android version up and running. And then we will make improvement to the user interface and so on both platforms. But hopefully within, I have to be super careful, but within a month or two, we should have the full version of Android up and running with OpenAI. And please remember, I did not promise this. I said that's what we think, because everything can kind of take longer time than expected and all that.
Of course, but we have many Android users. They are waiting.
Wait a minute. One of the things that we are also looking into is something that maybe not that many people will use, but I think it's super, super important that we have this option. And that is, hopefully it will end up being a button in the app where you can press, and then you can have a volunteer verify the description that you got from BeMyAI. So you can, if you say, "Oh, I didn't expect that. This sounds wrong. Can that really be right?" And then you can press this button, and we will send the picture and the description to maybe 10 volunteers, and they will say, "Yeah, this is right, but there's a little tweak there or something." I think this is super important to have security.
Yeah, very good point. And there are some questions about features. First of all, do you have any plan to make a video description in the feature like that? It's a picture, we are taking photos.
We don't have the capacity to do that. So it is something that OpenAI or some other company will do. I don't think it is possible in the near future. I mean, if you have tried, so you know that when you take a photo, it takes between 5 and 10 or something seconds before you get an answer back. And that is one photo. In a video, you have like, I don't know, 30 or 60 photos per second. I know it's not comparable in that way, but still it would take an enormous amount of computer power to do this with video. But I am absolutely sure we will get there. It might be slightly different. I imagine that you can have something say, okay, I am looking for a specific shop while you're walking down the street, and then the AI will be able to kind of recognize, okay, now you are actually at the Starbucks or whatever. Something like that, I think, should be possible rather soon. But to be honest, I have no idea if it is 6 months or 2 years. But it is something, and it would be absolutely amazing.
And also it would be amazing if we have an instant description in one day. It would be very better if there are some features in OpenAI. OpenAI published the GPT-4 version of it, and there is a voice communication in that application. You can call, you can voice message, then it answers to you. It is there in OpenAI. Do you have any plan to implement it also into BeMyEyes, Zeka?
Our first priority is to make BeMyEyes accessible with the normal accessibility tool, meaning voiceover. And we are very careful about kind of stepping outside that. But of course, and we have, when I say we, I mean my developers, they have made it so now you can, when you are in the text box, you can double tap with 2 fingers, and then you can dictate, and then you double tap with 2 fingers again, and then you double tap with 1 finger, and then you send the question, and so you can double tap and double tap and double tap and double tap. So it is almost like a conversation. But we are absolutely open to implement the voice command thing, but that is not just around the corner. But we believe it is impossible that you can kind of trust that BeMyEyes works with voiceover and the way you expect voiceover to kind of behave. But you can do all kind of fancy stuff out there. But we also want to make sure it is absolutely accessible to everybody.
And most of the people also wondering about web version, because we are using computer, and sometimes I know that many people are also mentioning about this in the beta group. Do you have any plan to apply it to from BeMyEyes.com and uploading a picture from computer like that? Do you have any kind of such thing? Or I know there's such kind of demand about that.
I cannot say anything about that, but it is absolutely a request. I want to do this on my PC or my Mac, and simply take a screenshot and have that described. And I believe it is something that is absolutely possible. And I also believe that, and I hope that, I don't know if it is something that BeMyEyes can do, but I really hope that we can make computers more accessible with this technology. And I believe there is a good option to do that. And I also believe that BeMyEyes has an obligation to try to kind of push some of the bigger companies who have the manpower to actually do this. Microsoft is talking a lot about their personal assistants, and I think that will be mind-blowing what you can do with in 2 years from now, your personal assistants on your computer or devices or whatever, simply because they will be able to understand what you are asking them. dictation and navigating, and I think that it will be a whole new level, and how BeMyEyes can play into that, I don't know yet. But I mean, we are super small team, so we don't have like we cannot say, oh, you 10 guys, look at this.
Oh, okay. I guess
so we are very limited in what we can really do. But we are looking into can we make a similar version that will work on a computer? But I don't know if we can do it yet. So but it is super young.
As we only imagine, and I know you have a capacity, you have a limited capacity, but of course we are also, as blind users and blind consumers, are expecting or wondering about some issues about that. For example, one of them is related to, if you take a photo with a camera of iPhone, voiceover directs us about the middle, in the right, like that, and there is such kind of some instructions, camera instructions about how can we take a photo. Do you have such kind of things in your agenda about to integrate into BeMyEyes taking pictures?
I can tell you, we have a very long list of ideas. I also know that if any idea is not top 2, 3, 4, 5, it will never come to flourish. So and one of the things that between you and me is pretty much I think pretty close to be revealed, is that you can, when you have taken a photo and you have had it described, then you can save the photo and the description together on your camera roll, which has been a very big request. It's not quite ready yet, but that's some of the things that they are working on right now, which I think would be pretty amazing, because then you can actually go back and find the photos and enjoy the description about the family picnic and all that. So that is one of the things that will be available hopefully pretty soon. So.
Okay, and there are also many people I am also using, most of the blind people are using OCR systems before BeMyEyes, and also we are using, but our observation is that the OCR capacity of BeMyEyes is not so strong as it describes the images like that. This is, I know this is related to OpenAI, but sometimes, for example, it reads the document, but it isn't not. It may not read very correctly sometimes. Do you have such? Do you have any improvements about this OCR issue? Because most of the people, blind people, also rely on, for example, lecture plans. There are some lecture plans, there are some agenda, there are some restaurant menu, many things there are, but what are you doing about the OCR capacity?
Yeah, the OCR, I think you have also noticed that in the beginning, it was, it was really bad. It could basically not read text. It would get like 2 or 3 lines correct, and then the rest was completely nonsense. It has improved dramatically. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good. And I have told many people to use Seeing AI instead of BeMyEyes if it was about text. And if you have another option that is better, you should absolutely use that, because I think it's very important both for me but also for all our users to realize what are the best tools to use for this kind of I know it can be convenient if you can use the same app for everything, but sometimes BeMyEyes is not the best. And I'm the one saying this. We hope that, and also the reason why I can say this is it is really not something that BeMyEyes can do much about. We, of course, are telling OpenAI about these issues, and we have also told them that, whoa, you really improved the OCR capacity, but it is not quite there yet. You need to improve a little more, and I'm sure they will do this. But of course, this image to text thing is not their main thing. It is kind of a niche corner of what they are doing. So we don't get all their staff working on this either. So and that's also why sometimes it takes a little while before they get around to improve this feature. But they are very much aware of what we tell them, and they are very, very aligned with that blind people should have these options and the right to see whatever they want to see. So we don't have argues about that, but of course they also have other things to do. So yeah.
Sorry, I will say Turkish to Can Deniz. Can Deniz, bana sorulmuş soruları gönderiyorsun, video betimlemeleri olmalı vesaire gibi. Bunları zaten sormuştuk. Sorulmamışları yollarsan daha fazla şey yapabiliriz. And Hans, there is also still we couldn't solve a problem related to character limits. For example, when I took a description, it interrupts in the middle, and I say continue, please, and it is continued like that. It decreased, but it is still there. Did you realize, or are you aware of such kind of bug in the BeMyEyes?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
There is a character limit. For example, I ask something to describe it, then artificial intelligence start telling something, writing, and it interrupts in the middle. So then I write continue, please, then the description continues in another message. There is such kind of character problem, limitation.
Oh, yeah. You see, the thinking in this process is that you take a photo and then you get a short description to make sure you have taken the right photo, and then you can ask follow-up questions. So if you take a photo of some text, it will give you this description, and then you can ask, please give me the full text. And then in your second answer, you will get the full text, most likely. That's how we have been thinking about this. But we think it is important for, especially if you are new to this, and maybe you are not that familiar with taking photos and so on. So simply get a short description of what is on this photo. So you know, okay, I have actually hit what I wanted to take a photo of. And then you can give the longer description in the second follow-up question. I know this is not perfect if you really know what you want in the first shot, and then you just take a photo and then you want the result. And maybe we can change that later, because we have also had some requests about, can we have a more personalized BeMyEyes? Because I have a lot of questions about Pokemon cards or whatever, and can I have an expert reply about my Pokemon cards or whatever. And that should be possible. It's not something we are looking into right now, but to be honest, I'm a little fascinated about that, because it could be so amazing if you, as a cooking expert, could have that kind of an AI, and maybe you are studying economics, and then you have another AI, and then you are maybe into gardening, and then you have all AI about plants and flowers and all that. And if you can have a different version based on who you are and what interest you have, I mean, that would be totally amazing if we can kind of tailor this. And the reason why this is at all interesting is it is actually possible to do that. And if you know how to write a prompt, and a prompt is the kind of the text that we send together with the photo. If you can write your own prompt, you can actually do that right now. Simply have the prompt and then write the prompt into the text box, and then you will get exactly your kind of answer back. And basically, when you are asking a question, you are writing a prompt. But maybe you can make a super specific prompt that you want, which I am not capable of. But I know that we have some smart blind people that can actually write a prompt, and you can go on YouTube and see a ton of videos about how to write a prompt and get a specific kind of answers that you are looking for. So
okay. Very good. And Hans, now we can make a session. We ask a question. We can ask a question. We can ask further question, and there will be many answers. And sometimes I want to share the whole session, but it is not possible now. Only I can copy one answer, but in that session, ask something, answer something, and there will be very good archive in that. And will it be possible in the future to share the whole session or copy the whole such kind of dialogue?
I think so. I will also say that we have seen some. I mean, so somebody has maybe 20 follow-up questions. So and then suddenly you have a whole book.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not really what a lot of people want. But we are looking into how we can do this in a meaningful way. But I mean, we have seen some extremely long chats where people are trying to get it to say something specific, or and adding more pictures, and suddenly it is a very long chat. But absolutely, having 2 or 3, or I don't know, answers would be really good. So yeah.
Another question is related to as again paper in a upside down, in a vice versa, that it can't read alone. For example, in the seeing AI, in other things.
It's really weird that it cannot do that. I don't have a solution for that, and I don't know where on the roadmap that is. But we will be looking into that as well, together with OpenAI. That is also a OpenAI
issue. What about the music notes? Could it recognize?
So could you repeat that?
What about the musical notes, for example. Could it recognize that musical notes?
But AI.
You don't know. Okay. And one of my friends says in OpenAI issue, for example, when I ask something in the GPT-4 in its application, the answer is coming very fast. But in BeMyEyes, the answer process is longer compared to OpenAI's own application. Do you have any work to increase the speed?
It is always a longer process when there is a picture involved. And to be honest, I don't know. But if it is involving processing a picture that there's more computer involved than if it is only about getting an answer or something. But to be honest, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Okay, Hans, maybe Can Deniz, is there another questions in your area or something to add?
Well, I
can.
No, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, Can.
Okay. There's a important question from your eyes, another firm in Turkey. If OpenAI one day stops providing the service, what features of BeMyEyes will remain? It's actually a service that currently depends on OpenAI.
Did you understand the question?
Not really.
For example, if OpenAI one day said that I will not give you my service to you, do you have any B plan about that issue?
Well, I think there will be other options out there. Not that we do have a plan B, but we are very much aligned with OpenAI. So I don't see any issues coming in a short time. But of course, I mean, who knows in 1 year from now? And 1 year, that's a long time in AI time.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, Google and Microsoft and the other, they are also developing these kind of tools. So there will absolutely be other possible vendors for this kind of service. But it is still the core belief that it should be free if it is in BeMyEyes. And if they will not provide that for free, then I don't think it is in BeMyEyes. So that's kind of the short answer about that. So.
But first, for everything, we would like to thank you, Hans, because there is a very, very exciting issue to take such kind of wonderful, fantastic, extraordinary description. It was very amazing, and people are using it many areas, from taking the scenes, something, for example, or taking a photo of society, or running, or everything in the meal in the restaurant. They are using many times to separate between different. For example, sometimes I am taking the photo of the television screen and I am getting idea about. Sometimes I am taking the photo of a bridge or outside and I am getting idea. So it was a very good and very fantastic issue. And I think we are our time is going up. Do you have anything else to add to us before this?
Sorry.
Well, just if you want to, please try it out and be very innovative about it, because we have seen amazing use cases, also some very heartwarming. One of the things that I found to be amazing was that the two blind parents taking pictures of their kids and have them described to them. That was very emotional. And of course, they had their kid described to them many times, but to do this right when they wanted and without having another person's intermediate in that was very, very touching and for them super meaningful and all that. So that just made my day. And another very different but also super important thing is we have students who are using some books, and there is a graph in that book, and now they can take a photo of the graph, and they can have the graph described, and they can ask specific questions about this, and then they can go back and have the graph described again, and if they needed to have it described 10 times, they can do it. And BeMyEyes will never be tired of describing. So, I mean, I have been studying philosophy, and there was also some graphs. And I know that I have personally been looking at these graphs for hours and reading and going back simply to understand this graph. And I mean, if you are a blind student, you also need to have something repeated for you a number of times. And it can be very, very embarrassing to ask another person to describe the same thing 5 times. But now you can do it without feeling like a burden to anyone. And you can have it described 20 times if you want. And you can even ask, okay, describe this in more simple terms, or try to use plain language, or pretend I'm 5 years old and describe this to me, and it will try to do that. So, I mean, you really have some options that we have never had before. And I really hope that this will help. And the last thing I would say, and then I will shut up, is that we will be adding more and more languages. So you will get your languages in Turkish, maybe not completely perfect Turkish, but it will be absolutely understandable. And we can do that in Turkish and Japanese. And I mean, I think we have 35 or something different languages now that we can where you can get your answer back in your own language, and that is also super important, because not everybody speaks English in this world, and it is one of the core values in BeMyEyes that we can help people in their own language. And that is also why I'm so proud that we have 185 different languages in BeMyEyes, because then we cover like 99% of the people in this world. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Hans. Hans, if you have time, we took last 2 questions, then we will leave. Is it possible for you? Okay. Last 2 questions. Can Deniz oradan varsa eğer iletebilir.
Ben sesli bir şey sorabilir miyim?
Ömer, yes, okay.
Duyuluyor değil mi
You
ses?
can ask now. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hello Hans, and welcome, and thank you very much for this great talk. And I'm really I really would like to thank you very much for a wonderful app like BeMyEyes. And actually, I was preparing to convey my reproaches to you because of not not giving the Android BeMyEyes version, but I get your apology, so I gave up it. Sorry, but first we have a community. Sorry. First, I have. I want to. Sorry for my daughter. She was very excited about her watch. So anyway, I want to ask that we have a community here in Turkey about Android accessibility, and we have, I think, maybe more than 1,000 users or something like that. And we actually are. I must say that disappointed not getting the beta versions or test versions of BeMyEyes in Turkey, because I know that some users are using in United States at the moment. We also would like that, if that is possible, we also would like to promote and use the BeMyEyes feature in Turkey and promote it in the among the Android users of our community.
Okay, there's a beta user demand. Okay, Ömer.
Yeah. Yes.
Please.
And the question is,
be quick, please.
Okay. And the question is, you have talked about text to image feature. Could you please a little bit elaborate on that? How can it be? I'm really curious about that. And thank you very much.
First of all, we have, I think we have 16,000 Android users on our wait list to be beta testers for Android. So we have definitely nothing against anybody from Turkey, but
I know.
But it's just a very, very long list of people who want to test this, and hopefully it will be available within a month or two to everybody. And we will also add people from Turkey in the test period. But I don't think we will need that many testers as we did with
not many, a few, 3, 5, 4 or
iOS
5.
version. So, the text to image version is something that has nothing to do with BeMyEyes. It is something that if you are a subscriber to OpenAI's version of Chat GPT-4, then you can simply write a text about a picture you would like to have, and then this Chat GPT-4 will create that picture. You can say, I will have a car that is flying and has the legs and all kind of crazy stuff. And then it will simply create that picture, but that has nothing to do with.
I know there are some application which is doing that kind of but the BeMyEyes is doing the vice versa, image to text issue like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Hans, thank you a lot for your participation, and it is very enjoyable to host you here. And I hope BeMyEyes will be very, very will serve to blind people. I think it is a very beginning. I think that because this is the I considered is the version 2 revolution of the informatics system, because I want for me the version 1 starts in 1990s and 2000s with the development of internet, computer, with the use of OCR technology, and many things. But after in 2023 now, firstly, we can use the image to text in a complete way, and it is a very revolution from statistics to math to from astronomy to history and everything. We can do something, and we would like to thank you to all your team in the BeMyEyes and your cooperation with OpenAI. I hope we will have much more better descriptions and much more different horizon in the future.
Me too. Thank you so much, and thank you for all your wonderful questions, and thank you for setting up. And sorry, I was not super responsive in our communication. I will try to do that better. But thank you so much, and also thank you for having these days where you help us spread the word about how important it is to make things accessible. So we can also be part of the sighted community, and we can maybe in an easier way get a job or stay in a job and all that. And it is so important that we educate everybody in the whole country about that people with handicap can also be part of the taxpayer system and all that. So it's so important what you guys are doing. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And again, see you in the more better news in the future.
Yes. Thank you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That.
Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.
Thanks for coming and attending this session. And our guest, we will see with you in other events of the no barrier access of a situation.
And Can, maybe before finishing, we can also inform that in tomorrow evening there will be another good session about artificial intelligence and by Yapay and Jamsai. Am I saying correctly?
Yes. Again,
about artificial intelligence.
Yes, again at 9 p.m. We will be here to another great event. So we will invite you.
And see you.
See you. Goodbye.